Good afternoon. Welcome to today's special resource basket webinar, We Heart Consent. My name is Anna McGovern and representing the Resource Basket, a training and technical assistance center for people who work with or support rural Alaskan Native youth. Before we get started, I want to review a couple of things that may be helpful this hour. On the bottom of the screen, there's information to access a teleconference for today's audio if unable to use your computer's speakers. Everyone who is on the teleconference has been placed in listen-only mode. Closed captioning is available at the bottom left-hand side of the screen. We will have time at the end of the presentation to engage with your questions. Today's webinar will be recorded and made available on the Resource Basket website. All of our previous online trainings are archived at www.resourcebasket.org. At the end of this presentation, you will be asked to fill out a brief online survey about it. Points of view or opinions expressed in this webinar are those of the presenters and do not necessarily represent the official position or policies of the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention or the U.S. Department of Justice. Now let's take a look at the webinar screen. At the bottom right-hand side is the chat box. We will monitor the chat box throughout the presentation. If you are joining us online and are viewing as a group at the computer, go ahead and type in the chat box how many of you there are and where you're from. If you're watching by yourself, just write a quick hello and where you're from. That way we can get to know everyone. Our presenters will present through a webcam and will also host interactive polling features to connect with you better and bring the learning to life. Our presenters are part of Homer's Rec Room's peer education team. The Homer Youth Resource and Enrichment Co-op provides teens with a safe space to foster healthy relationships and make healthy choices. Welcome, Homer Rec Room.
I can drag it over, but I can't click the button.
I can do that.
Hello.
Can you drag it over?
You gotta drag it over. Oh, I'll drag it over. Yeah.
All right. All right, you guys are on.
Cool. Hello, everyone. My name is Zane Boyer. I've been a peer educator for around a year and a half now. I'm a senior at Homer High School, and I'm 17 years old. And the reason that I really enjoy being a peer educator, the reason I love this job, is because it's a way that I can help people. And helping people is something that I've always been passionate about. It's what I want to do with my life. I want to be a surgeon so I can help people throughout my career. And this is just one of the ways that I can help people. So today we are going to be talking about sexual consent, and therefore we will be talking about sex and sexual relationships. Now, we're not assuming anything about any of the participants or us as presenters. We're just talking about sex because it's an issue and a concept that will play a role in many of our lives, and it's something that when you're in a situation, this information can really help you out there. And we're really just trying to keep everyone safe and healthy. And it's also really good for young people like us to know what laws are, to know what our rights are, so that way we can keep ourselves safe and healthy. And yeah, remember that all of us deserve to be healthy and to be in healthy relationships, and that if any of us are being treated unfairly, then it's our right to change that.
Hi, my name's Sierra. I just graduated high school last month, and I've been working as a peer educator since July. I did this because I know what it's like to be a teenager and to struggle and go through lots of really hard things, and I think it's so cool that I get to help other people deal with that and to teach them about healthy relationships and consent, which are so important to me.
Hi guys, my name is Chloe Plesnak. I'm a junior at Homer High School and I'm 16 years old. And I really enjoy my job because I get to help people learn new things they might have not known before and do fun things like this. So I'm really excited to work with you guys.
My name is Casty Lush, and this is my first year here at the Rec Room. I'm a junior at Homer Flex High School. It's an alternative high school, and it's pretty cool. I took this job because a lot of my friends have had it, as well as my sister, and I really like the change that it does in the community, and I get to help people. We should have a poll, but I cannot see the targets.
Okay, we'll work on that.
If you guys could type into the chat where you're from, that would be wonderful. But I don't have the thing with me.
So yeah, just let us know what part of Alaska you're from. Ooh, we got an Anchorage. Nice. Sweet.
All right. Well, as more people join us, we'll just have them also type in. We will remind them to type in where they're from, so that way we can really get to know where everyone is
Yeah.
coming to us from.
And as a small intro into what we're going to be talking about today, we ask that you answer whether or not you see more healthy or unhealthy relationships in your communities. So, what do you guys think about that? I'm just going to kind of delve in. More healthy, that's great. All right, so to start off, we'd just like to thank you all so much for coming out here to learn and become leaders in your community. So we're going to be discussing a few different topics today. To kick off our lesson, we'll be doing a role play activity, and we're going to be acting out these scenarios. And when you see something that's a red flag, which means a sign of an unhealthy relationship, if you could either type in the chat box or react up in the corner, there's a button where you can hit disagree or agree. So either of those, just disagree when you see something that's an example of an unhealthy relationship, and agree when you see something that is a healthy relationship. So, do you guys have that all clear? We're
Are there any questions?
jump into that role play otherwise. Sweet.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
All right. Hey, what were you doing talking to that guy at lunch?
Oh, I was just asking for the math assignment I missed yesterday when I was at the nurse.
Oh, okay. Are you feeling any better? You were kind of flushed after first period.
Yeah, it turns out I was just dehydrated.
Oh, really? You know what? We should start bringing water bottles to school together. That way we can really make sure that we're getting enough water.
No, yeah, that's a great idea.
I care a lot about you, and I really want to make sure you're healthy. But you also kind of hurt my feelings today when you went and talked to that guy. Could I see your phone?
What? No, why?
Well, I mean, I just want to make sure that if you are talking to him, it's all good and there's nothing wrong.
No.
Are you keeping secrets from me? Look, we're in a relationship. I care about you so much, so why would you keep anything from me? I mean, I thought you loved me.
All right, so it looks like we have a disagree.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Red flag, yeah. There we go. Can you specify something you saw that was a red flag, particularly in that role play? Something that made you go, oh, not good.
I'm just gonna wait for something.
Controlling, yep. Definitely. Yep. All right, so if that's all, we're gonna move on to the next role play.
All right. Hey, hon, what's up?
Nothing much. I just gotta go head home. I have some homework I need to get done.
Oh, come on, that's not boy. You should just come to my house instead.
I'm sorry. I really need to do this work in order to make sure I can pass this class. Besides, I went over to your house yesterday.
All right, it's just that you say you don't want to come over. It kind of makes me feel like you don't care about me.
What? That's crazy. I care about you.
Well, then you would come over.
You know I can't come over every day.
Fine, if you don't want me to come over, maybe I'll just invite Joe. I'm sure she will want to come over.
All right, I'll come over, okay? I guess I'll do my work later.
Yeah, and you'd come over because you care.
All right, so you guys see, yep, red flags. Can you specify for us, pretty please? So some things that I saw was he was putting himself before something that was important to her. So that was very controlling, and he was pressuring, yep, definitely.
Another thing is I disregarded something that was of value to Chloe when she said she really needed to study for her homework. I totally disregarded that.
Yeah. All right. Second roll for.
Why are you stopping now?
Wait, do you have a condom?
It isn't my birthday every day, you know. This is a special occasion.
Yeah, I know.
Look, I don't have a condom, but we'll mean even more now. I mean, what difference does it make if we use a condom or not?
Well, I don't want to get pregnant or run the risk of HIV.
I thought this is what we both wanted.
Do you really love me?
Well, yeah, but sex is a part of love.
I guess you're right. All right. We got a
Red
big
flag.
red flag.
All
So,
right.
yeah, any specifics you guys saw? Something I saw was the immediate. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Definitely.
Guilting her, definitely. Yeah, I was kind of giving her a little guilt trip to try and coerce her, is a term we like to use, into doing something that I wanted, that she did not want to do.
All right.
And then also, you know, I used the phrase love, you know, I'm persuading her by saying that she would do this stuff if she loved me. This is a part of love, and that is a very major form of coercion.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Right. Hey, so what are you doing next Friday?
Oh, not much. Just relaxing. Maybe reading a little bit.
Oh, you want to maybe catch a movie sometime?
I mean, well, that depends. Are you asking me on a date or is this just as friends?
Well, I would like it to be a date if you're up for it.
Oh, that's so nice, but I mean, I don't think so. I really just don't see you that way, and I really need to dedicate my life to my puppies.
Well, that's kind of selfish. I mean, the least you would do is give me a chance.
I do give you a chance. We're friends and we hang out, and I really value having you as a friend.
I get it. That's all good. So, how are your puppies?
All right. So, did you guys see any red flags or maybe good things that happened in that role play? Mm-hmm. After red flag.
You say some of the things they might not know.
So yeah, some of the things that I saw were he said, "Wow, it's kind of selfish," and kind of tried to guilt her again with that manipulation.
Oh, the manipulation, yeah.
Exactly. And then the good thing was like when she said, you know, tried to clarify if they were just going as friends or if it was a date, and that was really good communication skills that she was using, even if it wasn't exactly reciprocated at first.
And even after I slightly overreacted to her not wanting to go on a date with me, when she talked with me a little more and explained her view, I understood her and I moved on from it and I accepted it, which is the healthy thing to do in that situation.
Cool.
Okay, so now Sierra, if you would like to join us. Alright.
Okay, so now we're gonna discuss consent, which is one of the main reasons why we're here today. We're gonna start with a quick poll, which would you all enter whether or not you think the following is giving consent? I mean, I don't really want to do that, but I guess if you want me to. No, yeah, you're right. It's not consent. While some of you may have answered yes, we can understand why you thought that, but consent wasn't really given there. The comment showed hesitation. It was more of a concession, and it wasn't really a clear yeah. Which brings us to the question, what is consent? Please type in the chat box what you think consent is.
So in the chat box, if you could all just type what you believe consent looks like, sounds like, what consent is.
Yeah, giving permission? It's a really wonderful answer.
Both parties mutually agreeing to something. Yes, that is a great definition.
It's a verbal, continual, consensual yeah. You're just completely 100% yes.
All right. So the way we like to define consent is by saying that's a verbal affirmation that grants permission for sexual contact. But really, it's just any situation in life where permission is needed and then it's granted. So, what do you think consent isn't? So please type in the chat box. Just some things that consent is not.
This could be examples of situations. This could be just a definition.
Yep, manipulating to get a yes. Definitely, we talked about coercion earlier on.
Yeah, not peer pressuring, definitely. That goes into that whole manipulation thing again, and trying to get someone to do something that they may not want to do. So, some specific things that we like to say aren't consent is silence is not consent, not responding, and sometimes body language can say something other than what the person is actually saying. Also, when someone is under the influence of drugs or alcohol, they cannot give consent. And also, if the person is unconscious, they cannot give consent. So, how would you guys ask for consent?
So please type into the chat box an example of how you might ask for consent. And this doesn't have to be in a sexual situation.
Yeah. Those are great
So
examples.
are you okay with blank is a great question. Are you comfortable? Is this all right with you? Definitely.
Communication is always important. Some ones we like to give out are is there anything you don't want to do? Are you comfortable? Do you want to stop and do you want to go further? And that's just again communicating where your lines are drawn.
And now we're going to transition into a video. So we're going to be showing some clips from an amazing Lacey Green video that's super informative and talks. Lacey Green teaches about sex ed across America. And in the first clip, you're going to see what consent does and does not look like.
There we go.
On the screen?
Are you enjoying?
Just a moment.
Are you enjoying your?
Sorry, we are having some technical difficulties. Hopefully this will be fixed soon enough.
Are you enjoying?
Looks like it's still waiting for it to load up. Just for a second. I want you guys just, it's gonna go on a couple of minutes. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so while this is loading, we would like to mention that if you have any questions, just in general, you can just put them into the chat box. And if we do not address them, our other peer ed, Cassidy, who is manning the computer, will be able to answer your questions in the chat box. Oh, it looks like it's loaded. All right. Or maybe not.
We go back to the game.
Oh, it's muted.
That's where we go.
Do you find that having peer-to-peer discussions about healthy relationships are more effective than hearing from adults? What do you guys think about that question?
Sorry, I'm over here as well.
There's a question.
All right, so do you find that having peer-to-peer discussions about healthy relationships are more effective than hearing from an adult? For me, I would believe that peer-to-peer discussions are more likely to really connect with the adolescent that is on the receiving end of the knowledge, because as a team, we're far more open to discussing things with our peers than with our parents or teachers or adults. However, what often happens is a lot of our peers don't have completely informed ideas about certain concepts. So sometimes the knowledge that they pass on is not entirely accurate. So that is one of the risks. Of course, this can also happen with adults too. And that is why we are trying really hard to educate everyone, so that way everyone can pass on their knowledge.
skip these videos.
All
Okay.
Okay, so I think we're gonna have to skip the videos for right now, but a lot of it just talks about what consent does and does not look like. And we'll go further into that.
Yeah. So we can actually go over some of this stuff. So what consent does look like is that it's verbal, it's enthusiastic, and it's very clear. Is something that's very important. Like there is no miscommunication when consent is properly given. Consent is not given if someone seems uncomfortable with the situation, if their body language suggests that they're not comfortable with it, if they're silent, if they're under the influence of drugs or alcohol, anything else? Or they're unconscious.
Yeah, big one.
Mm. And now we're going to talk about the laws in the state of Alaska concerning sexual consent. And these can be confusing. I know I spent a long time studying them and memorizing them and preparing this lesson on them. So just please stick with us. So for people aged 13, 14, and 15, partners cannot have more than 4 years of an age difference, and neither partner can have a position of authority over the other, and consent must be given. So, for example, a 13-year-old can have sexual relations with a 17-year-old as long as that 13-year-old turns 14 before the 17-year-old turns 18, because that means it's like a 3.5-year difference. So it's less than 4 years. For people aged 16 and 17, neither partner can have a position of authority over the other, and consent must be given. Which means that a 16-year-old and a 26-year-old can have sexual relations as long as neither is in a position of authority over the other. Now, a position of authority can mean a coach, a manager position over just an employee, a teacher, a member of the clergy, really anything where they have any level of power over you. And it goes both ways. So the younger person can't have a position of authority over the older person if they are 13 through 17. Now, for people age 18 and older, as long as there's always consent, then it is okay for them, and they follow the laws of anyone younger than them, then they are allowed to have sexual relations. And the important thing to remember is that for all ages, there must be consent. So that was a lot of stuff. Thank you very much for sticking with us. Now, are there any questions before we move on?
You can tell that written by lawyers.
All right, so if there are any questions about that, we can answer them on the oh. You heard any questions from youth when giving the presentation that you'd like to relay here? You guys have any ideas? Let me think about this.
That's generally just clarification on ages and caps like that. But
What?
A lot. Oh, what was that?
serves as a position of, oh, you already talked about it.
Yeah, a lot of times people are just very surprised about these laws. Actually, they believe that either you had to be 16 or you had to be 18 before you could legally consent to have sex. But that is not the case in the state of Alaska. However, it's important to recognize that these laws are only applicable in Alaska. In certain states, like I believe Texas, their laws are much more strict than they are here. So it is quite possible that you can't legally give your consent until you're 18 years old in certain states.
Some places that we've given a presentation, we did it up at Anchorage and Lead On, and we also did another online class for some Kenai Peninsula schools. And then this is one of the lessons that we've adopted from our actual lesson plan teaching at schools around the Kenai Peninsula.
Yeah, so we've taught this class to students all around the Kenai Peninsula, Seward, across the bay, Soldotna and Kenai. We've taught it to middle schoolers, high schoolers in our town, and at the conference that Sierra mentioned earlier.
cool, guys. So we're now going to transition into communication. And as you've all seen throughout your lives, there's different modes of communication that we all use on a daily basis. Sometimes people are very formal or casual, passionate, or many other different ways that you can communicate. So in addition to our words, it's important to remember that there's also tone, which can change the entire meaning of what we're saying, making it sincere, sarcastic, or mean or kind. And there's also body language to take into account and how that affects our verbal communication.
So the first type of communication is going to be passiveness. This is when someone doesn't really speak their mind. They're not really speaking up for themselves or what they want. Sometimes they could say yes, but they don't really want to. They just kind of want to finish the conversation and move on. They want to make you happy. The problem with this style is while other people are happy, you usually don't get what you want. And the second type is aggressiveness. This can be taking what you want, threatening or forcing someone to give it to you. It can also be saying put downs or violating people's personal bubble. With this communication style, while you often get what you want, you can hurt other people.
And the third type of communication style that we talk about is assertiveness. Now, assertiveness is being very clear and precise with what it is you want and what you desire. However, it's also not being all in someone's face. It's not being overly emotional or loud, because then that would become aggressive. And the reason we really like assertiveness is because it keeps you from becoming used, as can often happen with using passive form of communication, but it also doesn't allow you to use others, which can happen with aggressive forms of communication. And also, while it becomes very unlikely that you will be misunderstood if you're being assertive, while at the time protecting the feelings of others. So it's really useful when it comes to giving consent, because for instance, if you're not giving consent, being assertive would be a way to protect, let's say, your girlfriend's feelings while still making it clear that you are not giving your consent. And to help demonstrate these types of communication and what they might look like, the three of us are going to be doing some little role plays about them.
Cassidy's going to come up and join us. And we also have a poll for you guys. So you're going to click what communication style you believe that Cassidy and Sierra and I are using. So I believe Zane's going to step out here and Cassidy's going to jump on in. All right. So we're going to start out with the question and then we're going to say the statement. The question is, hey, do you want to go upstairs so we can be alone? And the statement is, no thanks.
I want to stay at the party. We're having a lot of fun.
I know I don't want to go anywhere with you, you dummy.
I mean, I don't know. I was kind of liking the party. But like, if you want to, I guess. Maybe later.
Okay. And to recap, I'm Chloe.
Yeah.
This is Sierra. This is Cassidy. Alright, so we had Cassidy's passive, which was correct. And Sierra was, what were you, Sierra?
I was assertive because I was stating what I want clearly and nicely.
Yep. And I was aggressive because I was being very angry about my statement instead of clearly stating what I wanted. Alright, so we're going to move on to the next one. The next question is, do you think we should use a condom? And the reply is, I do want to use a condom.
Of course we should use a condom. Why would you ever put me at risk?
I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, we should definitely use a condom. I'm definitely not ready to be a parent, and it's been a while since either of us have been tested for STIs, so we should just be safe. Alright. Yep, Cassidy, aggressive. Chloe, assertive. That's right, because I clearly stated. Cassidy kind of shouted. And Sierra was passive. And she was passive because she wasn't really stating what she wanted. She was more on the fence about it and kind of, she wasn't saying exactly what she wanted. She was allowing herself to be possibly manipulated. So, alright. Third question is, I know we're trying to wait, but I think we should have sex right now. And the statement is, I disagree.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should wait. We've waited already and we're doing really well.
I'm not having sex until I'm ready.
How could you say that? Do you disrespect me and my desires? Why don't you care about my opinion? Okay. So, let's see. I was aggressive because I was just kind of shouting out there, not really
Dramatic.
I was being very dramatic. And Sierra was passive because again, she wasn't stating exactly what she wanted clearly. And Cassidy was assertive because he said exactly what he wanted, so it was clear from the beginning. All right, guys. Sweet. You guys did a great job. So we get that some of these examples were a little funny or maybe a little bit over the top. But we ask you to keep in mind that some of these styles may be more subtle in day-to-day life than we presented, and to be aware of the styles people around you are using on a day-to-day basis. So one resource that we like to give out is loveisrespect.org, and I believe Cassidy's going to type these websites into the chat box so you can all reference it. Loveisrespect.org is a great website that can provide help with various parts of relationships, from communication to contraception. Also, with any questions, you can chat with a helper at their website just by texting LOVEIS to 22522. They also have a free call line that is open 24/7. It's a great resource, and that number is 1-866-331-9474. And Cassie's going to put that all in there. And all of their services are free and confidential, which makes it valuable to anyone.
Another website that we find a lot of our information from is sexetc.org. That is sexetc.org. This website is supported by Rutgers University, and all of their resources are science and study-based. They have information about sexual health, healthy relationships, consent, puberty, and so much more that deals with teen life.
And the third resource that we also use a lot is iknowmine.org. And this website was made by the Alaska Native Tribal Health Consortium and with coordination with the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. And it's a really comprehensive resource spanning from sexuality to nutrition to puberty. And it's a great resource that we like to give out. And the thing is, all three of these resources that we just brought up are very useful to teens because they're made for teens. So there's like fun games in some of them, there's activities, and a lot of the posts on sex etc. like questions are answered by other peer educators like us. So that's just one of the really cool things. We also use really just like research heavy statistic type things, like we go to the CDC website, but we also typically don't suggest that for everyone because it's just numbers heavy and it's not a fun activity to do. Well, these other things can be really engaging. That's why we like them. So if Cassidy could please put in the link to the video, if he already did. So if everyone attending could please go actually watch that video, because my guess is it will work better in your own browsers. The video by Lacey Green and Cassie shall be posting it again. If everyone could go watch that and then come back and we could discuss some of the things that you guys saw.
We're just finding that we sometimes watch that because there's parts of it that.
Yeah, and sometimes the reason that we have the video cut into pieces for this presentation typically is because there's some parts which might be considered inappropriate, even though they're not really, but for certain age groups. But considering it seems that there are mostly adults attending, I believe we can all be adult about it and handle it. So yeah, if you guys would just like to watch that video, and when you're ready, come back and we'll discuss it. Already did it. Hello, everyone.
Right. Screen.
I don't know where
I don't
our
have control of the camera.
camera
Maybe
went,
doing-
but maybe if the
Oh, it's
The host person or something?
Oh. Yeah. I don't have camera control. It disappeared the first time I logged on. It just disappeared from my screen.
Can I ask? Can
Uh,
everyone hear
Click
us
meeting
still?
host right over there. Oh, there we go. Start sharing. And then
Yeah.
drag
there we
it.
are. Sorry about that, guys.
there we go. Oh wait, let me just.
Yep, I see.
Oh god, it glitched.
Yay, we're back. All right. So, what were some things that you guys saw in that video? Maybe some things you liked. Type it in the chat box.
Yeah.
Affirmative consent, yeah, that's really good.
People think he's done.
All right. Learning the difference between getting consent and not having consent.
Very important thing to learn.
But one of the great things about this video is it really is able to show consent in a sexual situation. So it can really just show you different examples of what it might actually look like. Yeah. All right. So, that is all we had. Oh, I'm sorry. Also, if there are, I believe that you can see the resources in our notes that Cassidy put up there. And that's loveisrespect.org, sexetc.org, iknowmine.com, and then our own website and blog is thehomerrecroom.org.
Also, feel free to friend us on Facebook or follow our YouTube account for more videos and educational resources.
Yeah, we have a couple cool videos up there about
About the
stuff
rec
that we
room.
do, about the rec room. Yeah, and then also if there's just any questions you have for us as peer educators about what we do, about just us as teens, feel free to ask them.
Yeah, we good at that, being a teenager.
I'm a professional
We are professional team. Like, what's it? Is it 5,000 hours that it takes? I think I'm there now.
To be a professional.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
to be a master at something. It's 5,000 hours. All right. Do you have lessons in other topics currently?
Yeah, okay. We currently do a lot of lessons. We do entire lesson plans. We teach sexual health for a lot of the schools in the Kenai Peninsula. We go up to Anchorage and teach conferences up there. We do lots of online conferences that we're asked to do. We've done cannabis education before. We do a lot of it about healthy relationships, consent, just basic sex ed, like condom demonstrations and things. And then we also have lessons that we've been doing for parents and adults that are in teenagers' lives, which is about like connecting and caring for teenagers.
And we also talk about resiliency, and we go into STIs a lot, and we talk a lot, as you guys might have noticed, about healthy relationships, consent. Overall, our focus is preventing unplanned pregnancies, such as our grant, but also we really believe that the best way to go about that is by teaching a comprehensive lesson that really covers all levels of teen life and sexuality as a whole to really empower people to be able to make decisions and gain the knowledge to prevent unplanned pregnancies. And in the future, we are trying to just implement in more places. This is one of the ways we're trying to get our lessons and our message out to the state of Alaska. We are teaching across the bay in some villages, that's the word, to just try and spread it out. And we're teaching online classes, going to conferences, really just trying to get this knowledge out into Alaska. Are there any other questions? Do you present at the Alaska School Government Conference?
You wish.
We wish we presented there. We have not presented at that. However, that is definitely something that would be great. Help garner more support from education systems for the messages that we're trying to spread. Oh man, I'm sorry. Talking about messages we spread, something that we really try and emphasize in all of our classes is that we teach facts. We don't teach ideals or belief systems. We totally respect everyone's systems of beliefs. If someone's religion tells them or beliefs tell them that contraception is wrong, like we support them in that, and we try and give them other methods to keep themselves safe and healthy. The one ideal that we do teach is respect, and we expect everyone to respect other people's beliefs and choices and lives. All right. Ooh, we can definitely talk about that after this. That'll be fantastic. Oh, Cassidy's typing something. Or not. Oh, oh, and you're gonna send a
That's
heart,
really
Cassidy. Well, thank you. That shows us you care. All right. If there are no other questions, then that is all we have for you guys today. Thank you very much for attending.
Yeah.
Alright, so thank you, Homer Rec Room, for oh, I hear myself. For taking the time out to talk about such an important issue and promoting awareness to peers and others. So thank you for your leadership, courage to describe and educate others, and to make a healthy difference in our lives.
Well, thank you very much. It's something that we really value. It's something that we all love, which is why we do this job. You know, we all have our own personal reasons and tries, but really the thing that unites us all is that this helps people. And that's really what matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Alright, so I might have to you guys all to switch the slides.
I'm sorry, your microphone's a little fuzzy. I can't hear you perfectly.
Alright, how do I sound now?
Just finish up.
Alright, so available. So I think you guys might have to or put yourselves on mute.
All right, I'll do that.
All right. Cassidy's gonna handle that because he understands this far more than we do.
Guys. Okay, alright. So available on the slide are live links to resources the Rec Room recommends. So you guys should go ahead and check those out. They're also down here on the notes part on the screen. So we also ask that you take a minute to answer a brief survey about this presentation. You will be directed to these questions as you exit the webinar, and your feedback is very much appreciated. The host will also put the link down in the chat too if it doesn't come up. The Resource Basket also hosts a supporting youth webinar series with the Alaska After School Network. Our next webinar in this series is February 23rd on culturally responsive social emotional learning. On the bottom of your screen is a live link that will take you to the Resource Basket website where you can find additional information about upcoming opportunities. If you haven't already, like us on Facebook. On behalf of the Resource Basket and the amazing Homer Rec Room, thank you so much for being with us and have a great rest of your evening.